and we are going to have a magnificent day 3 of the business of pleasure, better sex, and bigger profits. And who doesn't want to enjoy life, have ultimate fulfillment, and really learn how to bring your life to a whole new level? So, tonight, let's go first into a recap of day 1. Day 1, we covered tune in. We discussed how tuning into your body really brings you into the present moment, gives you more of a connection to yourself and to the things around you. So when we tune into our body, it is like this body is our receiver. It is the greatest receiver in the world, each one of our bodies. And it's like in the old days of an analog TV where we're trying to dial in our frequency and we're trying to attract those things to us that matches our frequency. So it's really important that you understand that this body is more than just some cells and some blood and some bones, and it's really this great big receiver. So most of us are running around operating with this receiver like it was an analog TV, black and white, trying to dial it in, or one of those old radios that you had to really dial in FM or AM and you had to get to the right channel. Well, that's what your body's doing. But how about if you started learning how to really bring your body into and your life and your mind and everything into a whole new vibration to where you're actually vibrating at a whole new vibe, and then you can be like a high definition TV with all those nuances of colors and those nuances of you see particles and you see things that you never would have seen if you were still back on the analog TV days. So who doesn't find that exciting? It's to me, it's like, oh my gosh, why wouldn't I want to be having a life that is in rich, gorgeous colors and textures and senses, and everything's so alive and vibrant, and I feel vivacious rather than dull, yucky. And so I'm going to show you a picture really quick. I talked about it last night, but I want to share my screen and I want to share a picture of what my life was like before I really came alive. On the left, I was sad, um, depressed, low energy, low vibration. Um, Life was just happening to me, and I was just the product of unhappy circumstances everywhere I was because I didn't know what I know now, because I didn't operate from a much higher and started cultivating this capacity for more and more pleasure and started transmuting, which we're going to get to later, but transmuting the energy. And then what happened in those earlier days, when I was younger, and who thinks that the picture on the left was me older and the picture of me on the right is younger? I mean, I would think it's flip-flopped, but there's 10 years difference between those two pictures. There's 10 years of where I looked sad and depressed and much more weight, and just my skin and everything was much, much different. And then the one on the right is after really coming alive to a whole new vibe, tuning into those greater frequencies, those higher vibrations. And I let go of the things that were really low vibrational, that were holding me back, that I was focused on as a victim, and I I was not happy with in my life. So I just wanted to give you a really impactful view of what it is that I'm talking about. How could that be? How could it be that those two pictures are actually me? And I actually is when we were younger, and um, that was when I was younger, and here I am 10 years older, and look at me now. So this is possible for you, but it's so much more, all the different aspects of your life, all the different parts of your life will change as you begin to change your vibration, as you begin to get to those higher states, and as you begin to, I call it, I tapped into the fountain of youth. So, um, Adrienne, I just showed a picture of me 10 years ago. I'll show it again, everyone, just so those who are just tuning in can see the difference of me 10 years ago and me 10 years now. Remarkable difference of what this work of this sexual transmutation of energy and understanding your body and tuning into higher frequencies, what it can actually do for you. So I want to talk to you for a minute about day two. That was day one, and day two is where we talked about, sorry, my phone's making some chimes. Day two, we talked about turning on your body, getting into your turn on, getting connected to your power source, getting connected to your pussy or to your lingam, and really begin to understand that energy, that sexual energy that runs through your body. And so I wanted to talk about tonight. We have a great topic, and we're going to lead into day three, which is sexual transmutation. And sexual transmutation is actually a process, a way to use that sexual energy to cultivate and to turn it into your dreams and desires. So most people, and it really gets really good after like age 45 or 50, because your neurons and things have all changed. You're not in procreation, you're not driven by your hormones. You get to that place where you can turn this energy, and it's the energy of geniuses. It's the energy, because it's creative energy. So it's really this energy, that sexual energy, that we can take and tap into and really change our world and change our life and change the world. So, because it is that creative energy. So, Napoleon Hill, Liz, if you could put that quote up in the chat. Napoleon Hill he studied businessmen back in the 1920s, and he studied successful businessmen, and he polled them, and he wanted to really get in their minds and what it was that they knew that the rest of the world didn't know. And it was this study that turned into a book that most business people today use. It's called Think and Grow Rich. And it's like one of those foundational books that we all maybe have read, and we may have read it 10 years ago, and maybe I would encourage you to read it again after tonight. But in there, in his chapter, I believe it's 11, he talks about sexual transmutation. And he talks about it as the actual the energy of geniuses, because turning and cultivating this energy is what really they tap into and really begin to utilize, rather than utilizing it on just our primal pleasures. Just like So a friend of mine is here, Adrienne, and Adrienne is a specialist with addiction and with people. She serves people with addictions. And so pe- just taking and like giving into those primal pleasures, uh, those simple pleasures, not the simple pleasures, but the pleasures that we just begin. And yes, a lot of people do reference Napoleon Hill, but not the sexual transmutation. That's because most people, Adrian, don't know what it is, because they read that chapter and they don't investigate because it sort of slips by their mind and they don't quite understand it. They don't quite know what it is. So they just let it go by. But here I want to give you all the tools so you can begin to start utilizing this, because it's your creative energy. It's what you can use to like launch your business or dream up a new business or begin to dream of a relationship, or how about changing your body like bodybuilders do. But when we give in to those pleasures that we want to have right now. So let's talk about people who masturbate quite often, people who watch porn, people who drink every night to have to kind of find their pleasure, to calm down, to get to the end of their day. They tap into those and they give in to those lower vibrational pleasures. I think we all should give in to higher vibrational pleasures, pleasures that we can really fuel ourselves and feel happy in. But if you want to have $1 million in your bank account, but every time you go by somewhere, you indulge in spending on $1,000 purses, or you buy some kind of couch or furniture that you don't really need right at that moment. But if you can keep holding that idea that you want to manifest that $1 million, and you utilize this energy, it'll come to you faster. It'll come to you and you'll have all these creative ways that, oh my gosh, here it comes. I never thought of that way. I never thought of doing, having someone show up that handed me a check and said, go do this, because we are taught that we need to work really hard. We need to effort. We need to do a lot of stuff. And then we also turn away a lot of things because we've got to do it ourselves. So there could be opportunities right in front of us, but we don't even tap into them. So I want to read this quote that I had Liz put into the chat. It says, a river may be dammed and its water controlled for a time, but eventually it will force an outlet. The same is true of emotion of sex. So it's the emotion of sex. It is not, if it's not transmuted into something of a creative effort, it will find a less positive, less productive outlet. So I want to unmute for just a minute, and I want to hear from Adrienne and maybe Mark. What does that mean to you? What does that, I'm going to unpin myself. Let's see if I can remove pin. And I just love to hear from you, Adrienne. What does that quote mean to you?
First, what I'm thinking is that it's not righted right now. There's hope in there. There's hope in this, because if not righted right now, it will be righted one way or the other. But it would be better if we use that energy rather than just let that energy fizzle out. You were talking about vibration earlier, because that could be a choice. We just let the gift fizzle out. But I think this is the same thing.
But think
And I
about
think
those.
that most people, when they think about the emotion of sex, I think that there are some people that think of an immature version of sex.
Right, right. It's like that masturbation or that quick release, but when you're utilizing this and you can hold that, like there's a whole practice that is more abstinence to utilize this energy, to cultivate it and begin to,
Hmm.
make it more of
More potent, right?
more potent and higher vibrational. So
Yeah.
if we can look at this from a low vibration of addictions, porn addiction, which is giving into that lower vibrational urge and emotion to release it, to get rid of it, as opposed to being able to harness that energy, hold that vibration, choose
Mhm.
something higher, like to cultivate it into what you want. So you yourself can masturbate, but it's how you begin to send that energy towards something, which we're going to do an exercise in just a little bit. So anything else you want to share? And then I'm going to,
Just one other thing that I just noted up earlier, the the emotion that needs to be transmuted doesn't necessarily need to result in a child.
no,
It can
very
be a
true.
creative effort.
Yeah, a creative effort is a birth of a business, is
Yeah.
maybe a $1 million to do good in the world. Those are the same thing as birthing a child. They are the
Mhm.
same creative energy and force. That energy is used to create whatever it is out of the thinking matter, as in what in oh, not Think and Grow Rich, but it's escaping me, the other book. Um, but it's that we draw in that thinking stuff, and we
Mhm.
in turning it to matter, and in the matter you continue to hold that, and the matter actually comes into form. Everything we
Mhm.
see, whether or not it's a chair, whether or not it's a house, whether or not it's what we're vibrating and what level we're vibrating at and how we're being, and then we take that and we go on to um, transmuting it into something that we want. So our state of being is highly important, but so is our turn on. If we're not even utilizing this, it's always there. It's right there for us to use, but it's doing it with intention. It's doing it in a way that, you know, most of us are just operating on what's on our external world, instead of, ooh, the most important part is our internal world. And what do we want to see? How do we want to be? How do we want our outer world to start showing up? And then when we use this creative energy to do that, it's like I said, it's like taking and changing from, and I'll pull it up one more time, um, my picture. It's like going from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. It's tapping into something that is life force energy. And when we don't utilize that life force energy, then it becomes such a um, we sort of start dying. We're pinching it off. It's very, and we do that by our emotions that we carry every day, by how much we are victim, how much we show up as being a victim, how much we begin to constrict the good that wants to come to us, rather than really taking it on and um, So if you could pin me again, that would be great, Liz. And let's keep going. So thank you so much, Adrienne, for sharing. And let's see if I can pin myself. There we go. Okay, so sexual transmutation. How do we do it? What do we do? So let's get into it. So take and for a moment, I would love for you to, you can turn off your cameras if you want, because that would be a little bit more, privacy. And I want you to breathe with me for a moment. And I want you to really get into your body. I want you to feel into your body. I want you to take and follow your inhale in, your breath. And I want you to take and really just feel your breath going all the way and filling up your stomach, filling up your chest, filling up your whole entire, all the way down into your toes, all your cells. And then when you exhale on this next breath, I would love for you to let sound out, like an ah. Just feel the sound coming out. Feel the vibration as it changes, as you let out. Instead of just, you actually let out a ah. Okay, so we're going to take 3 breaths together. And then we're going to just be still and quiet in our bodies for a minute. And I want you to take inventory in your body. I want you to start feeling what's tight, what's loose, what's open, what's constricted, and I want you to then, I'll guide you, but let's take 3 breaths together. Another big one. All the way down into your stomach, all the way down into your toes. Oxygenate all of your body and then release. On this one, I want you to put your hand on your yoni, on your pussy, on your lingam, or on your cock. I want you to put your hand there and rest it as you take in this deep breath on your power center. Okay, now I want you to take and inventory your body. But as you inventory it, I want you to think of something that is very enjoyable. We did this on day 2. We did this when we tuned, or on day 1, when we tuned in. I want you to think of some place that you, or something that really makes you, it could be your own body. It could be your own, it could be source. It could be feeling just quite in this moment. It doesn't have to be something outside of yourself, but I want you to utilize your imagination. I want you to envision textures, smells, scents. I want you to be in that creation that you're thinking of. Is it a place? Is it somewhere you want to travel to? Is it your business a year from now? Who are you serving? What do they look like? What does it smell like? What sounds are you hearing off in the distance? What colors are you seeing? I want you to take just another minute. I'm going to be quiet. And I really want you to go into that creation. Okay, now I would like for you to take and put your hand back on your pussy or your lingam cock, and I want you on your power center, and I want you to take a deep breath in. And as you let this one out, I want you to just connect there, connect to your power, connect to your source. Then I want you to bring that energy up as you really harness it. I want you to feel it. I want you to breathe into it for another minute. I want you to expand it. And when I mean expand it, I want you to envision it getting bigger and then getting bigger. And then how big can you make this ball of energy that you're going to cultivate right now? Can you make it into where it expands into this room? Take a deep breath and feel that energy. Feel that vibrational, higher vibrational energy that is connected to your 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 genitals, and bring that energy and keep expanding it. Breathe into it, expand out, breathe into it, expand out, make it bigger. See if you can feel it has some texture as it's getting bigger. Is it getting more potent? And then I want you to take and move that energy up into your heart and put your hand on your heart. And as you bring it to your heart, I want you to think of and bring that vision that you were working on a few minutes ago. I want you to bring that vision and connect it here in your heart with that sexual energy that you just cultivated. And I really want you to bathe it in there and love it. And just the heart has 100 times, I don't know, heart math has studied the frequency and how much more powerful the heart is than the mind. So we think we have to think our way through everything and we have to do it all ourselves and we have to effort. But truly, it's our sexual energy and our creativity moved up into our heart. And then we can send it up to our third eye. And then I want you to take both hands and I want you to send it out to the universe. I want you to just send that vision and send that energy, that ball of energy that connected with that creative imagination that you just did. And I want you to send it up out into the universe. And then I want you to ask, because we know from many different sources that when we ask, you shall receive. We know from the Bible, we know from some of the current teachers like Esther Hicks, and we know from I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be your teacher today, and I'm going to tell you, ask and you shall receive. So when we take this and we put it out into the universe and we say, I ask the universe to send this to me, send this, whatever that was, insert your own, this, send it and bring it to me. I want to receive this now. And let it go. Let it go out into the universe. Let it go, and you don't have to think about it. You just have to do what now you have to do is you have to respond to what the universe is sending you. So you may have the universe send you a person, and I want you to use what I taught you yesterday in tuning into your cock or your pussy and find out, is it a yes? Is it a hell yes? Is it a no? Do I feel constriction in my body? Do I feel expansion in my body? Do I feel aligned with this, or do I feel not aligned with this? So when someone shows up or someone hands you a check or I want you to check in. I want you to check in with your body. I want you to check in with your in. Do me a favor, just check in with your body, because your body knows. Have you all heard of kinesiology? Right in the, I want you to come back now and come back into this space. Have you heard of kinesiology? Do you practice it? Do you use your body's wisdom to tell you a yes or a no? How many of you use your body? And come on back into the room. Adrienne, do you use your body? Do you use your body's wisdom?
I like to think so. I've had lots and lots of repetitive lessons that I need to listen to my body. I didn't hear the still small voice at 30, and I was hit with the cosmic 2x4, and that was my first coma. So, sometimes I've had to be forced to be stopped in order to hear my body.
Good. Well, how about Morgine? Is it? I apologize.
Gene. Somebody has less gene. My husband used to say some people have less gene and I have more gene.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you for that. I will never mess it up again, I promise. So how about you?
I've been using my intuition for years and years and years. I try to teach people that they eventually, if they pay attention, they don't even need to use kinesiology. I mean, I went from dowsing to, muscle testing with both hands to muscle testing with one hand, because my medically intuitive vet taught me one hand. And then I just learned to feel my body. So
Yes.
I can pick up a book in the store and go, I just need to look at a page in this and put it back, or I need to buy this book. I use my intuition. My friends call me all the time. They go, can you tell me about this? Because they don't know, should I take this class? I mean, because the only reason I signed up for your class was because you put it, my Sheila says, I know you're going to do your meditation thing. And I did. I mean, I meditated and I just get a yes or no, because to me, God put signatures in, even eating. I've had a weight problem my whole life. So if you pay attention to eating, your body will tell you when it's had enough of food. Your taste buds will shut off. It's like, I don't want any more potatoes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Your taste buds just shut down. Your body is like the best system for telling you what you want, what's good. Don't go there, go here. Like Jerry one day, I said, where are you going? She said, I don't know. I'm following my intuition. Turn right, right, right. We're in this teeny little mall and it had this electronics shop that had the exact part you've been looking for 2 years.
Exactly.
In here, I don't know why, and he goes,
yeah, yes, hell yes. I did that one time, and then I want to hear some of the other ones. But I did that one time when I was in massage school years ago. I didn't know why I needed to go to Sedona, and the guy I was dating at the time, he said we were supposed to go to Greece, and I changed that. And then he says, well, let's go on a trip. And I'm like, okay, you plan it. And he planned the trip for Sedona. And I was like, I don't know why I need to go to Sedona, but I need to go to Sedona. And when we got there, right on the edge of the bed was this book about going and doing the meditations at all the different vortexes. And that was to align my energy with the masculine and feminine. And that was like 30 years ago. But, you don't know sometimes until you get there, but you just got to keep saying yes. And you don't know, but when you stay in this energy and this vibration and you utilize your body, we've got to get out of using our heads and this monkey mind and come into our bodies and utilize what our greatest receiver is.
I just want to add that in school, when the Industrial Revolution came and they needed workers, who would come and do the same job every day, they taught you to follow authority figures, to trust whoever the teacher was and everything. So they actually taught that out of you. They taught you never to think for yourself and go the other way. Because we went to school for our kids, when they would write answers on the test that weren't on there, but so that just know that when you're having a hard problem, was when you went to school, they taught you not to think for yourself, not to trust your body and everything.
Yes.
So.
Yes, very true. Trisha, how about you, or Mark? How about you? Do you utilize your body? Is this giving you a more in-depth knowledge to begin to use your body?
It gives me some insight. I really haven't listened to my body other than telling me there's aches and pains and I need to slow down or I need to take care of myself in this way or that. But no, not to the extent that you're talking about.
Well, there's a whole world for you, Mark. And
Yes.
keep opening up, keep listening to it, because it will never guide you. And this is some of the work that I do with my clients, is I begin to really teach them and get them to understand what's happening, what these sensations mean, what this vibration means. And then, tuning them into their chakras. And then we begin to start, I have sort of morphed into and do more musing these days, which is, as a muse, it's just, I'm that spark of creativity for someone who maybe needs that outside, source, needs that outside spark. And it isn't so much me as it's me being in it and me being very harnessing my own. So you have very driven people operating in their masculine energy. And so what I like to do is sort of meet them with my feminine energy, and then it sparks, it brings all kinds of new ideas and into their world. So Trisha, what about you? Is she there? Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Okay, she might not be listening. So any other questions right now before I keep going on? And hi, Eva, thanks for coming in. I love having your energy here. What about, you're gonna have to watch the replay of what we've already covered so far, so you'll love it. Anybody have anything that they want to share, or before I keep going? I want to tell you a little bit about what I have in store for you. How did you like that exercise that we did on cultivating? Can you see how you can play with that? Rewatch the video and maybe take and have something in mind that you're working on, and how you can begin to build. And instead of, like in your meditations, it's about listening, but take a little bit of that time that you utilize for your meditation. And I know, Adrienne, you go down by the dock and you sit at the dock. And so utilize that time also to do this practice. Give yourself 5 minutes, and begin to add that to your meditation time and see what happens. And there's other practices. I'm going to send out a thing to you all and give you some more practices, along with a booklet that has just some things about, cultivating, about being in your body, about sensuality, about sexuality. So it's a good resource for you, and it's a good tool to begin to utilize. For those of you who are listening on YouTube, or if you've gotten a hold of this video somehow, know that you can message me, or you can go to the bizofpleasure.com, and there will be a link there where you can download and get this free resource. Oh, actually, it'll be the biz.com/gift, and you will get this workbook and this resource. But come in and take this masterclass. There's a lot I covered that isn't on day 3 that you will have access to when you come in and do the full masterclass. So I want to invite you as an invitation to do that. Okay, let me read the comments before I keep going. Sorry, that's okay. That's okay. Thanks, Trisha, for letting me know. I wanted to give you the opportunity. They have a lot of tantric sex music on YouTube. Absolutely, quite interesting. Yes, and a lot of these practices really, we have tantra in two aspects in the US, and in a lot of the world it's kind of going. There's neo tantra, which kind of really gets into sex of itself. Let me go ahead and pin myself again. It kind of gets into the practices of connection, but it's coming from more of a sexual focus, being with a partner or even with yourself. You can go to tantra events and tantra where you're breathing and you're deepening your connection and you're actually connecting and melting into each other. And then there's actual things and practices that you can do while you're actually having sex that just deepens it a lot. Kama Sutra years ago was very big back in the 70s, and it's still big, but Kama Sutra along with Tantra, this is all helping you to cultivate that sexual energy. You don't have to do it with a partner though. You can do it by yourself at home. And that's what we talked about earlier tonight, where you can really begin to use this energy and send it out to something rather than through you, and transmuting it rather than just acting on the right here and right now. Like maybe releasing and coming, you can actually practice utilizing this, holding it, and then having an internal ejaculation rather than an external and letting all that life force go out. Because that's what happens when, and it's a little different for men and women. The more we are in and masturbating and cultivating, it's a little different than men. Men generally like to have that release, and they like to make sure that they, ejaculate and have that blow out into the world, but they haven't put it to use. They're just doing it for that momentary lower vibrational, take the pressure off pleasure, rather than, oh, I could really use this to something to benefit myself and create something. So that's where that comes from. I am not saying do not masturbate. I am not saying that. I'm just saying do it with intention. And you might, as you learn these practices, you may not want to just come. You may want to be able to utilize that and hold it and harness it and get it very big and potent and utilize it to create something. Okay. So I'm just checking on the time. I want to be able to share with you about what's next. Because I know I said that we were talking about sexual transmutation and we were talking about quantum leaping. And so a way for you to begin to quantum leap is really to understand these advanced practices and these advanced tools that you can begin to live and utilize in your daily and everyday life. And I'd like to share with you an opportunity to be able to work deeper with me. I have something I'm excited to share, and I want Liz to pop it in there, but I'm gonna, if you could pop the link for the Better Sex, Bigger Profits in there. Let me see if that's that one. Yes, okay. So I'm going to share my screen again, and I want to I'm excited to show this. There's my screen. So I've talked to you about the Muse and I want to share a little bit more deeper about the muse. So this is what I've created, is a personalized VIP day where you come and you are able to spend 6 hours with me, and we actually really dive very deep, so you have a very transformative experience while you're in this one day. It's like, holy moly, blows the top off of anything else I've ever done before. It's very personalized. It's you become a master of your sexual energy. You discover the power of your own personal vibration. You begin to achieve the ultimate erotic fulfillment, and fulfillment in all areas of your life. It's like, we walk around and half the time we're not satiated, or we're not happy with what we're actually creating. And so this actually takes and gives you that deep sense of fulfillment during this day. You tap into it, you feel full, you feel like you're very satiated. And then you learn the relationship between sex and money. And then you'll begin to harness deeper and cultivate deeper sexual energy. So this will be where you can read a lot of this. And but I talked to you earlier about the addictive behaviors, and how those simple, pleasures that we those pleasures that are guilty pleasures, the ones that we want right here and right now. We need to, eat this food, and then we get bigger, or we need that satisfaction now because we're trying to fulfill an emotion, rather than looking at that emotion and then going into another, holding it until we create what it is that we really want. It may be a bigger house, it may be money, it may be. But in here, I talk about the what you can expect during it, and how it's different, how the muse energy and sensual and erotic sexuality is different than coaching, which is more masculine and more linear. I talked about that on the first night, of how that's more linear, of I've gone here, I've done this, and I want you to be able to do what I've done. But this energy that I'm talking about, the muse energy, is really tapping into that creativity and sparking something within you that that is waiting for you. And that's something that I've been guided to really bring at this time. And I love this. It's something that's dear to my heart, is that the world needs more men and women fully liberating and integrating their masculine and feminine energy, leading ultimate fulfilled lives from the bedroom to the boardroom. And why I say from the bedroom to the boardroom is because, we are going and we are talking all about the sexual energy, and that is more in the bedroom, and then bringing it to the boardroom. A lot of times I used to say the boardroom to the bedroom, but there's just so much we can, let's see, oh, coming in. When we take it the opposite direction, and we begin to utilize this sexual energy and use it to create, we're not necessarily focusing on the exterior world as much as the interior world. So what you really need is a muse to spark your creativity and unleash your deeper erotic freedom. I talk to so many clients and so many people that are so pent up in their sexual expression and in their lives. They're worried about what everybody else thinks and how they should act and what is right and wrong for them, and there's so much suppression going on rather than full freedom. And for me, that's what part of my work is really is helping people to liberate their, I call it lusciousness, because it's that part of you, like a creme brulee. Talked about it the other night, the creme brulee that you go and you get, and it's got that covering, that sugared covering, and it's hard. And you take that spoon and you crack it, and then there's just all that ooey, creamy deliciousness in there, and it's like, well, that's what liberating your lusciousness means to me. It's all of that that's just waiting to come bubbling out like a champagne bottle that's there, and you pop that cork and it's all that. And that's what it felt like for me. I say, come alive to a new vibe. It's like, oh my gosh, forget depression, forget burnout, forget all this. Why are people in burnout? It's because they are so pent up and they are utilizing only their masculine. And if we only operate from one polarity, if we operate only from our masculine, the battery goes dead. And when those states are like, when it's, you start seeing things like depression, and you start seeing sickness, and you start seeing a lot of things that are very, very, when we're in burnout. So we'll learn to stop doing life and start living life and start being. Who doesn't want to stop doing life? On the treadmills, going from one thing to the next thing, and you're just doing life. But who doesn't want to live an orgasmic life? Like an orgasmic life in every area, where it's just like, oh my gosh, I get to wake up today. Hell yes. Hell yes. Start living from your body's wisdom rather than solely relying on your mind. And then opening up your mind so you can increase your capacity for more pleasure. Opening up your body to expand and feel more pleasure. Embodiment practices that you can learn a way that your body speaks to you. There's always more. Like, you think you might know it. I don't know it all. I'm still expanding every day. And the more I expand, the more I can hold this container for each one of you, and then hold the container for all those clients that are coming, and all the work that I'm here to do. It's just, I have to continually keep growing. And you do too. And so then develop the skill sets for sexual transmutation. And so you will always feel like my one and only client, because I only take 5 of these clients on at a time. So, and I don't work with 5. I don't do group programs, and I don't do that. It is a VIP experience. It is only you. You have my only attention, and then you have my attention after that. You have 24/7 be able to get a hold of me. This is a concierge type service. It is not something that just is like the one-to-many programs out there. This is one to you. It's me and you. And so it's very customized, very VIP. This is one of my clients recently, Marianne has helped me unlock parts of myself that I desperately wanted to know, but didn't know how. After working with her consistently, I feel like I upgraded my version of myself that is more confident, powerful, and clear. I've seen a direct link between what I've learned from her success what I learned from her to the success of my coaching business and the relationships with women and my family. I've never made more money and felt more satisfied in my life. So he has since moved to Rio de Janeiro and lives this epic life that he has just catapulted his life and his dreams, and money is coming in, and he's just, I mean, if you saw the difference between a year ago and now, it's amazing. So, Invoke the Power of the Muse is the program, the experience. And now there's a little bit more about me when you get it, and then you can see who it's for, who it's not for. It's not for those who are closed-minded. And so I just wanted to share that with you. And then I also wanted to invite you that to book a call with me, to get on a call, and let's explore what it is that you want, what it is that is your next step. This is one thing that I have to offer you. It is and those of you who do get on the call with me, you will get a substantial gift because you're going to get an extra hour with me. So it's not going to be 6 hours, it's going to be 7 hours. And you're also, I want on the call, there is another offer that I have that is a call with me. It's getting into, and I call it mapping out your pleasure. It's diving into your desire. And so, but I'd like to get on a one-on-one call with you. Doesn't cost you anything. The link is over in the comments. Liz has the link put over there. Schedule yourself a call, get on there, and let's explore what's happening with you, where you're holding back, what it is that you want, where your dreams and desires are, and what is keeping you from achieving them. But let me spark those ideas. I used to hold these things called idea parties, and I would just be the muse, and I would come up with all these wonderful ideas that would come out of nowhere. But we know where that is. And so allow me to be your muse. Allow me to connect and be that source that inspires you to go and tap into something different, bigger, more expansive. And so let's see where's it? This is amazing program. Get on Marianne's calendar. Thank you, Adrienne. I really invite you, that the program is something that is beautiful. I am excited about it, but definitely schedule your call. It doesn't cost you anything. It's nothing but 30 minutes of your time, and who knows what might happen out of that. You might have something come up that is truly amazing, that just our connection sparks, and it's my gift to you. So please schedule that. And I'm going to open it up now. I'm going to say thank you all for coming, but I want to open up and answer any questions or find out what questions you have on the material that I covered, or the call, or anything that's pressing and on your mind right now.
I just want to thank you. This is more Jean. I'm going to have to go, but I just want to thank you for inspiring me and reminding me of all these wonderful, juicy things I learned before. And I just think it's wonderful that somebody like you is brave enough to teach these classes. I was in Mama Gina's class, but I'm a highly sensitive person, so it was hard because you're really groupy, noisy, all kind of sister thing. And I learned a lot reading your book and being in that first class, but it was really overwhelming for me, and I could never do anything in person. But I'm really grateful I just want to say that somebody like you is doing this, because it's so much needed. We've deadened I would say 90% of the people, around the world, because of religion, because of school. We've just shut down our creativity center, which is our lifeline. We can't evolve, we can't create, we can't be who we are and expand into and be a healthy, happy person when we're cutting off any of our chakras. I mean, you just can't function that way. And we were taught and ingrained to turn that off. I mean, I remember going to church with my mother when we had a brimstone minister, and I was scared to death until we got a new minister, and he was very loving. But I remember that early conditioning can just ruin you. So I just want to say before I leave that I am really grateful that you're doing these classes. And I really think, I probably can't afford to take the class, but I think that it just makes such a big difference. And I'm so glad that you're brave enough to do that. And I hope you find some private platform where you can teach it. I have a couple of teachers who do that on their own website so that you don't have to follow Facebook's rules and you can post any video you want.
Yeah.
So thank
And
you so much.
in person also.
Yeah.
So, and that's a good point. If anybody watching has a platform, has a group of entrepreneurs or high-level business people, or a podcast that reaches moms, or leaders, busy leaders. You could be leading your family, you could be leading, a nonprofit organization, you could be leading your church or whatever it is. But it's those types of things that I'm looking for in person or online, podcast, being a guest speaker. So thank you for bringing that up. And I'm
If
looking
I
for
think of
those.
anything, I'll let you know, okay?
Oh, please do. And thank you so much. And schedule the call with me. Don't think that, that's your constriction. You're going like this, and the call doesn't cost you anything. And like I said, you may get something wonderful and everything out of that. So
Thank you.
just much love to you. And thank you for coming. Okay, who wants to go next? Hey, Mark, you out there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Love that little voice when it comes in. So did I blow your mind tonight, or was it a nice progression for you? Day one,
Yes,
day two, day
absolutely.
three?
Gave me something to think about. And
Don't think so much. Feel into it.
yeah,
Get in your body. Quit thinking about it.
yeah, I'm not used to doing that.
I know. And I'm going to be a voice in your head right now and in the future that you're going to go, oh, I remember when Marianne said that.
Yeah, I know. I know that's going to happen.
So I'm a lifeline away. Give me a call
I
and
will.
schedule your call with me, Mark. Schedule your call.
Okay.
The link is down in the comments. Get on my calendar and let's have a chat.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
What was your biggest takeaway tonight, Mark?
Tonight?
Yeah. What's your biggest takeaway tonight? Learn about sexual transmutation.
Yeah, I've not had any experience in that before. And I've heard about that kind of thing, the chakras and the energy but you got to have a good imagination to be doing all that stuff to picture
No, you
what
don't.
you're saying.
Why do you think you have to have an imagination to do?
Well, you got to be able to picture, and you got to be in a calm place. You got to be able to have peace.
We do it every day in our everyday life. So I want to show you real quick. I'm just pulling a necklace. And so you have a chakra on your hand. Okay. All I'm doing is holding it. I want to show you how it starts turning. And I'm not doing anything. That's a chakra, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see my hand is not moving, my top hand?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not an imagination that you have to have. It's a real thing. So just FYI.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Just FYI.
I got you.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Get on my calendar. Thanks for showing up all 3 days. I am like blown away.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Anybody else want to share your your thoughts or what you got from tonight, or all 3 days, or go for it. Unmute yourself and go for it. I know someone's got something to say. I know Adrienne does. She always got something to say. Okay.
I'm waiting
Eva.
for I'm waiting for Ava. I'm waiting for Ava.
Yeah, she's about to. Come on, Eva.
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch the replay for today, because when I saw you do the necklace with the hand, I'm like, I can't wait to see what you're talking about, because this is something that I use a lot with some of the things that I do. And so I'm excited to
Uh,
see how you use it.
well, so there'll be another class on, going into it a lot more, but this was just showing tonight now how really the body and the energy in the body, and how it is a real thing. We don't have to you need that experience, and that is what happens during the invoke the power of the muse experience. Is I actually take and work with the person with their chakras, showing you how you're changing your thoughts and how you're actually pinching off and expanding, and then we get into higher states, and then you watch how that all changes and how your body changes and how we can unblock things and how we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. Then we get into sensuality, and then we begin to cultivate our senses and really expand how we can smell and how we can taste, and we bring in lots of good stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So tell me what you thought about the other day that you were here, and what you experienced. Would you recommend it to anybody? Would you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't matter, where you are in your level of consciousness and your sensuality. It's just like everything else. We all need these reminders, to unclench, because it doesn't matter what part of your body we're talking about. There, stress, and just, the stuff that we deal with every single day it leaves it, living, it leaves its imprint on the body. And having these reminders to release and enjoy and have fun.
And this is only the beginning. This is like the tip of the iceberg. This isn't even getting into like the good sexual fun and play and breath work, and how to come from a place of your own driving your own pleasure, and then utilizing that into what you create in the world. There's so much fun to have. Did you see the picture of me before and me now? Were you here for that picture?
I don't think I was, no.
So let me quickly show you. I'm gonna just click on a few things to get it back on my screen before I move over. Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen real quick. And this tells a big story, and picture's worth 1,000 words. And when you see this story, that's a 10-year, this was 10 years past. Like, don't I look older there? Don't I look, it's like a lot more lower vibrational and everything. And then here's 10 years now. Look at the difference of the me before and the me now.
It doesn't even look like the same person.
Right. So that is the story that is so, that's the burnout, sick and tired, and there's the sexy, free, vibrant, and alive me. So to me, that tells, quite a story of the impact. Because you can sit here and you can tell a lot of things, but when you can actually see the difference, when you can actually see a picture that tells a story, is to me, impactful. So what about you, Adrienne? Anything else you want to share, Eva, before I move to Adrienne? Okay, good. All right, girlfriend, what's up?
I love today, actually.
Cool.
I would say the whole thing. I mean, I'm definitely 100% in to support you, and I would say that it didn't meet my expectations. It surpassed them. I think that you started out. I did this yesterday. Couldn't avoid that, but so I got
The
day 1 and day
recording is
3.
there for you. The recording is there.
Okay, great.
So it's already in the Facebook group. And
In the
so
group, great.
it's there for you.
Yeah, and I just think I think that you have a catchy title for sure. The business of sex is hot.
The business of pleasure, and then better sex, bigger profits.
Okay. The
And
business
then
of pleasure
orgasmic
still
living.
is hot.
Oh,
Right. Because bottom line is what bosses usually look towards. And I forget who told me this. Somebody in a JV circle, people have multiple revenue streams, let's just call them, to pay for someone to come in and speak to their company. And I could totally visualize you at the helm, men or women, doesn't matter,
mhm.
right? Because we all are a balance of masculine and feminine energy. And I think when we can keep that balance, and maybe tilt a little sometimes, go take the risk. But when it's important, fall on the right side.
Yeah.
And protect yourself, I love this idea of transmutation. This is a journal I used to write my grandmother. And
I've seen
I
it.
write
You
her.
showed it to me down at the retreat.
Yeah, except for that was a different one because I'm on
really?
so many. Yeah. I write my heart out to her, and the point of that is, I wrote in there one time, like, am I talking to you, or am I talking to myself? And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, does it?
No.
It's my job to give myself pleasure. I know that I'm a grown up because I stopped asking for things that I didn't get. I started giving myself those things,
Yes.
giving my permission to have those things and do those things. And in my journal to her, I wrote "Future Cool Mom." It was I don't even know where I got that card, honestly, but I put it up, I put it in the journal, and I wrote the date, and then underneath the "Future Cool Mom" was clearly a heart at her belly. I wrote due 8/22. And that was just this past month, and I'm just ecstatic to see. I think they might have to induce labor because I'm not sure what
Yes.
Yeah, got a little fighter in there for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
But it'll be interesting to see. That's why I was talking to you about
Birthing, not babies.
Yeah. Well, be fruitful and multiply with the commandment, right? Well, that also means multiply in thought, in deed, in word. We can multiply a lot of things, a lot of ways.
Well, here's why I don't call this launching. I call this birthing. I'm birthing this program.
Yeah.
I'm not launching it. Launching it is masculine. It's like, ooh. And it's like birthing it. Why not birth this into the world? Why not birth this gift, this baby, this beautiful thing that has been,
Love
that's
it.
coming through me? Why not birth it? So that's where I call that. Hey Liz,
That's beautiful.
thank you. Hey Liz, my wonderful, are you back there?
I'm here.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you
Hi.
so much for all of your work and for putting those links in and for supporting me. What did you think tonight?
Oh, it's just, yeah, I think like Eva says, it ties into so many things, even that I teach as a yoga instructor, about moving the chakras from the lower to the upper chakras, and that whole energy channels. It's just, yeah, it's wonderful to hear, you know, this side of the teaching. It's just wonderful. And we're covering all the bases, aren't we, ladies?
Yes, and for me, it's like sex is this, it's, to me, it's how I move through life. Is
Mhm.
is through sexual practice. Some people it's yoga, some people it's other. For me, it's sex. And it's sexual energy, and it's, hi Trish. Trisha is all the way in Australia. So okay, you can't talk at all. Your throat's, you lost your voice? Or you can't talk because you're, okay, perfect. So type in what you type in anything. Type in. So it becomes a practice. It becomes a way of being in the world. It becomes a self-expression. How are you deriving your pleasure? And for me, when I stopped avoiding it, because I was birthed into this world with a lot of sexual energy, and I was molested at 5. I was molested again at 6, and so it was all this sexual energy that I continue to carry. And so now, years ago, I used to sit there and go, oh my gosh, I would have someone come and go, oh, Marianne, you're talking about sex again. And I'd be like, oh gosh, I shouldn't. And then now it's like, oh, here's my megaphone, because there's so much suppression of our self-expression. And yes, I got that you're in an open office. That's what I figured. But thank you for listening. But we should not hold back any parts of our self-expression. We should, as long as we find our tribes, and as long as we are respectful of those around us, and as long as we're not doing something to harm somebody, who cares if you desire to have sex with 2 people? Who cares if you want to have a full monogamous relationship and carry it on for the rest of your life, and then maybe when your partner dies, then you start dating several people? Who knows? But don't ever let somebody suppress you. Don't look and see why you believe the way you believe. Why do you do the things you do? Always question. There's a part of my program that's at the very beginning that I didn't do, that I'm going to incorporate in when I do the full day master, or the 3-4 hour masterclass, is the turn off. And that's the turning off of those barriers, beliefs, and bullshit that keep us from being fully self-expressed. And then we begin to tune in, and we begin to tune in to our bodies and to our desires and to our pleasures. And then we begin to turn it on and begin to really start getting our body really involved and tuning into turning on our sexual pleasure and our power, and then getting our power more engaged, and then turning it up. And that was the sexual transmutation part, is turning it all up. So I want to thank you all, just truly, for being here, for loving on me, for giving me the audience, for allowing me to show up and share my gifts. And the chaos that's been going on for the last 3 days as I had to roll through. It was big stuff, big stuff. And I did it. Thanks for being here to witness it. I need one of those. Yeah. We need lots. I've got those signs too. We all need those signs. We need to like utilize all of our signs and stuff. So thank you, ladies. I love you dearly. Anybody want to say anything before we close out?
Love you, Marianne. Thank you.
Thank you. Other than namaste, and I see you, all of you, and I'm here for you always. All right,
Thank you.
here we go.